Okay, I'm going to look over the charts to prepare for next week. I'll begin with the pairs that I've covered during the weekdays, and we'll have a look at a few others as well. The timings will be in the description box below. I want to start with just a comment about Bitcoin. Obviously, my previous idea of a high into 27, nearly 2750 was incorrect, and it's since moved up higher than that. What I want to mention is that the trade I had on was from 900 into the mid 2000s. And in relation to that, it is not. What I want to say is about Elliott Wave actually, in that my Elliott Wave count was incorrect. However, it's still possible to make money even with an incorrect count because Elliott Wave is not a science. It's open to human interpretation, personal interpretation, and it's fallible as such. And it's not in any way something that's exact, and there's no need at all to be pedantic about it. You see often a lot of arguments over different counts. A lot of that is bollocks because it is simply open to human interpretation. There are only a number of rules and a large number of guidelines in Elliott Wave. And a case like this, where I had this segment as wave 5 overall, and that's wrong. Um, my count was off, but it was still a very good trade, and that is the only point in trading. To use Elliott Wave as a roadmap, as has been as it's been described in the past by many people, as something of a guide, basically. It's not something that has an indelible print on the markets. Um, if you see my videos, you'll see I'm often changing a lot of different counts. I'm trying to find the one that's most likely, also the one that I find simplest, following some kind of guideline like Occam's razor in order to kind of rid the whole equation of um, unnecessary complexity, really. So in this case, even though the count was wrong, the trade was very good. And that's essentially all that matters in this, just to make money and define the trade. So if there are different views in Elliott Wave, if you have a different count, you want to talk about it, let me know. Mine are just that as a guide to reach a target, which is just to make money in this. I mean, it's difficult, it's challenging, it can be emotionally draining, it can be very frustrating, but it can also be highly rewarding, um, leading to independence, leading to a lot of fulfillment in personal dreams. And that's the only target, to make money out of this, not to be married to account, not to be pedantic, not to get into arguments, just to find a way to capitalize on all the opportunities that are in front of us in all these huge numbers of markets and indices and stocks and so on. So having said that, I'll now move on to some Canadian dollar pairs. Follow this all week. Now, if I'm going to maintain a view that wave 2 is in here with the WXY XZ count, on the lower time frame charts, my current view hasn't ultimately changed. I'm still finding this a bit hard, and it's only going sideways since 25 May, so there's no trade in here. The trade, frankly, was from this region, a three-wave correction of this first five-wave impulse. And now it is trying to find some base, possibly. I mean, this is looking just like three waves right now. If this changes and extends to something else, I mean, there is the possibility that it could still be four here overall, and a new low can come, but the size of it is quite large now, and probably the odds are in favoring of a bit of a move up. Now, as I mentioned during one of the weekday videos, you can count this as five waves. You can force it. I think I had the count as, for wave 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then larger wave 4, wave 5. It's not perfect, but I can force that count if I need to. But for that to come into play, we would need to see a bit of a bigger correction up here. So that hasn't happened yet. This pair is now on standby. The weekly candle, it hasn't engulfed the previous kind of somewhat inverted hammer. Um, so there's no new trade on this and no new trade to enter into. Friday, last candle on Friday was trying to reverse this sharp decline, and it is open to another move higher. So I will leave it there, and I will stick with a bearish count on this, a bearish view on this now. The actual printed count is still open to interpretation here. So I'll just glance at a few other Canadian dollar pairs that are looking maybe to try to get a bit more perspective on US dollar, Canadian dollar. So Aussie Canadian, this hasn't really changed. It's been going up and down in this whole region for a number of months, and it's still open to this idea that we could have an ending diagonal for larger, what's probably better called an X wave. But in any case, I have it marked as B. However it's labeled, I am expecting another down move in Aussie Canadian as well. From the recent high at the start of May, it is again looking like a three-wave move. So that does ultimately open it to a move higher. There's no trade in this that I can see right now, so I'm on standby with this as well. It is open to a move higher, however. That would probably see the other Canadian pairs move higher as well. But for now, that's what I have to say about this. Now, New Zealand Canadian. The preferred idea in this did work out. A number of weeks ago, I was talking about a preferred move to come up above this high, which we've seen so far. Now, this is only from the last high in November last year. That's only three waves right there, down, up, down. And so far from there, we've seen only three up as well. Now, this is only speculative here because I cannot say that the likelihood is for a down move because the prior down move was only three. So if anything, the likelihood may be for another high. But all these moves here have been in threes, it's looking like. One second. Yeah, I would mark this as 7 waves, so that's corrective as well. So what I would say about this, I do like the idea overall that it will hold beneath this high. Possibly to turn over. Now again, this is speculative because I don't have a 5 down impulse to work with. But if I see it start to stall out and peter out and turn over with some type of, in a situation like that, there will most likely be a clear candle print of some sort. This may not be quite there, though it is stalling. Alternatively, if we do see a new high, I would also view that probably as bearish. But for now, I'm looking for it to stall out beneath this high, and let's see if I can get an opportunity for this to turn over as well. Because the whole idea right now is that the Canadian dollar is that strength will return to the Canadian dollar at some not too distant point. Euro Canadian dollar, I still like the idea of 2 here. It is, again, as always, with everything open to interpretation. This can, yes, be counted as 3 waves down. However, I do prefer the idea that, as printed, 1, a flat for 2, and then a move down overall, because the bigger picture on this is that it's looking like we've already had 3 into here on the monthly, and I am preferring a move down in this as well overall, holding beneath the Jan 2017 high, January 2016 rather. So again, no trade here right now. Now for the C wave, to count this as 5 waves is 1, 2, 3, 4, and what to make of this here? I don't know, frankly. I mean, there's divergence on the daily. It may be turning into a type of triangle, possibly, for wave 4, and then one more high, because the preferred view is still a move above here. I mean, with a divergent situation like this will run for a number of weeks if it really kicks in, but I don't have any evidence of that just yet. On the 4 hour, well, on the 4 hour we have overlap already here, so I'll see how this emerges yet, but I'm not willing to call this as some kind of high in yet for the flat idea. It may truncate like we saw on Euro Australian dollar as a possible count, but that's not yet in there yet. So basically, summarizing these pairs, there are no immediate term trades that I can see on any of the four Canadian pairs I just covered. Pound Canadian, um, this is looking bearish now. Where's my count? I made a count on this from the high and 5 waves into here. This did work out for the low. It's just I couldn't trade it. It became very choppy here. If you watch the old videos, you'll probably remember me being really frustrated about this. But in any case, the idea on this anyway was that there would be some kind of bounce, and it would then need to be determined if that was going to be corrective or a major low. And probably it's going to be corrective for another wave down. Okay, what else I was covering last week? Aussie, New Zealand. The reason why I'm looking for a weekly is not too bad. The reason I'm looking for another move up, during the week I was talking about, for example, I think I have it labeled on the 1 hour, A wave into here possibly with 3, and then I'm looking for a B wave down and another move up. The reason I prefer that rather than just like, okay, we had a 3-wave correction and now let's plummet, is because we are at trendline support. And that is the reason why I think it may be more likely to see another bounce in here. It started off correctively, so basically as long as this low holds, and frankly, even if that low doesn't hold, it could turn into something like a flat. But in any case, at trend support here, I do like the idea of finding a B wave into this region, 104x, and another move up above 105, 105.50, 106 or so. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Another move up in this, and then probably a continued move down. I mean, the weekly 8 EMA will still be about 105.70, so there is room to turn up still in this. So I'll be looking for a move up this week in Aussie, New Zealand, just because we're at trend support now. Now, odds in this probably do favor a move down, one more low for a Z wave, holding the March 2015 low, and ultimately it will turn into something like an impulsive wave, a complex correction, and a move up. Now, yes, it can still make the low here at the trend support and make that move up, but given how it looks overall, I do not favor that right now. I think the probability is with the bearish move for one more low, a break of trend, a kind of look like it may break this low, and a failure to do so, I would expect. Because so long as this low, as long as this move holds and remains, it remains integral to the whole idea that another swing up, a major swing up above 115 will occur sometime soon. Okay, what else I was dealing with this week? Euro New Zealand. This idea did not work out. Now, I'm going to continue to view this as 5 waves into earlier this month on the daily. As I said, I can put a bearish count on this actually, but given the larger picture, I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with the bullish count. It's just a question now of if it can form a low and get a B wave bounce, because overall I like the idea that this is just correcting all of this. On the way up, the analysis was sound. The failure here, trend support, the support here at the trend line did not work out. We've broken through. I'm just neutral on this now. We are, remember, coming into the gap, which followed, I don't remember what that was. It must have been the French elections. But in any case, we are coming into the gap region now, and that would make a decent low for this move. Gap into 152x or so. That's a long way down from where we are. But in any case, I would suspect that any correction in here will lead to another move down, like that, for example. Something like that overall, but I'm going to maintain a bullish slant on this overall. Euro Australian dollar is somewhat in line with that. I like the idea, given how difficult this has been and how I have not had a grasp of this until recently. I'm only going to suggest that we are looking at a larger wave 4 low into this region here. Maybe here already, maybe trying to base. It looks like it's trying to base here at 1048x. So another move up is implied in this pair. So, and I don't have more than that right now on this pair at all. Okay, Euro Pound I'm going to skip. Actually, if you want to see someone who has a good grasp of Euro Pound, a channel forex trading, number 4, letter X trading. He's been doing very well with Euro Pound. He's had a grasp of it since this low here at 0.83x, and so I would suggest going over there if you want to have a look at this this pair. Okay, Canadians are done. I wanted to bring back US dollar Japanese yen, a pair I have not looked at for a while. Going on the daily, the move here looks corrective. Now, if we're going to make a case that WXY count has been formed into April of this year and that this can be counted as a 5-wave impulse, we now have an opportunity to find a low in this pair. It is not yet, as you can see, above trendline support. I'm not going to suggest buying it until that or a lower time frame divergent scenario appears. So far it has not. The move up from the low is choppy. You may be able to force a leading diagonal out of that, but there's no proof yet. So I will wait to see how this emerges in the next few days, but I will be watching this now to try to find a low on this. The weekly was looking very bullish into earlier on Friday as a hammer, but it did not close with quite such strength in the end, and also the stochastics are kind of turning over. So I'm going to watch this to see if we can find a low above the April low. So holding this low for a possible wave 2 of a bullish scenario. Alternatively, I'll judge it as it goes along. But breaking above local trend resistance here will be a good key that we've probably found a low for wave 2 of this segment overall. That's the only yen pair I'm going to look at. Okay, let's go have a look at the US dollar. The low confidence, low end trust and faith, now US dollar. I put a trend here, trend line support. It seems it's interacted there a couple times, so we may be able to form a channel now in US dollar weakness, something like that, for example. There is also local resistance obviously coming in here. Now, I'm going to treat this as guilty until proven innocent. I feel that the US dollar has disappointed. I don't want to speculate on a possible larger ending diagonal or a triangle for larger wave 4 because I think we've done more than enough here, or larger wave 5 maybe, depending whether I said the ending diagonal or the triangle. But I feel we've done more than enough here. So the dollar now, with trend support broken here on this one, it's guilty until proven innocent. The view is bearish. Euro US dollar looks quite decent for a continued move up. So I will move over there. Just have a quick look at this as I don't have a count, but it's broken trend resistance here. So looking for this to come in, the idea on this in a bullish count would be something like 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and to continue on like that. So I'll be looking for this to hold on a retest and see how this emerges. I don't have another view for this now. I should say I don't have a bearish view on this anymore. It seems to have gone up too much. The idea of drawing in some kind of ending diagonal on this, I feel it's kind of broken that too much, broken too high for something like that. So I'm going to stick with the dollar high being in and the euro US dollar low being in as well. There's no kind of engulfing on the weekly. Let's see how this emerges as such. Cable did find a high from the count I was working here, the triangle thrust into a higher wave forward. Now I am bearish on this. As printed for one more low. Now, frankly, I don't know how to reconcile this count with the count I have and the idea I have in the other US dollar pairs. I really don't know how to reconcile those two divergent things with a suspected low to come in this pair toward 118 and then the continued bullish moves in the other ones. But in any case, this bearish count into here has been working. And if it's going to remain bearish from here now, it could be suspected in a third wave and it would need to sell off quite strongly here, way down into the 125 region. Because right now it's looking just like three waves, sharp, but still, that is how it's appearing at the moment. Okay, this is a pair I dealt with this week. This is in the region here of finding a high and moving back down, something like this, for example, with an interruption of three waves, and then we can find one more low in this before turning to a major bullish count or a more major bullish count. But the thing is, on the weekly, it's done well on the weekly. It's trying to turn up here, and selling has not really come into this at all yet. So far, it's still looking choppy from the high. I'll keep an eye on this week, but I would just suggest that it is still open to a move down in line with this, with the idea of it being essentially 1, 2, 3, preferably breaking this low and then moving up overall. But with the idea that there will be some strength coming into the Australian dollar, I would not I'm not going to look to trade this right now. I would keep an eye on this during the week, but I'm not looking to trade this. It did find the resistance here, but I don't have a suggestion on this as such, except to say that it is three waves into here. Though this has been quite strong, I'll see how the retracement goes in the next few days. New Zealand, US dollar. Not much to say about this since it's found the low, probably now in favor of breaking above this high, 0.74x. And gold had an outsized reversal this week. This looks like a very, very strong reversal, so let's see if it can sell off here. That's a good type of shooting star to sell off into the idea of maybe one more low here. So far, trend resistance has held. It did make a new high just above here again, but the weekly candle is very bearish, so see if this can sell off here as such. And I think I will leave it there. So I'm waiting on the Canadian dollar pairs and Aussie New Zealand, looking for a bounce in that and a wave 4 in Euro Australian dollar. And I will watch Aussie US dollar this week to see if there's a continued move up or if it's going to reverse for just a three wave move overall. All right. Bye-bye.